Thank you so much for joining me on the show today, Onyeka. Now, first, I'd like to understand, first, we're seeing an uptick in the industrial index today on the stock market. What's playing out? Why so much interest on the cement players?
Thank you for having me, Kenneth. Um, on the interest in the industrial goods players, I think it boils down to two things. One, an improvement in sentiment on the overall market, and a reaction to results that have come out recently. On the improved sentiment, we've been seeing earnings. Um, we've been seeing oil prices go up. They've been on a rally for quite some time now. Because of improved activity across different countries, and given the close connection or correlation between the Nigerian market and Nigerian economy with crude prices, it's a no-brainer that there is some positive sentiment, and we've been seeing a lot of domestic players, especially really troop back into the market. And then on the industrial goods players specifically, we've seen a very impressive result from Bua Cement. They released a good result, some days ago, where their top line grew around 47%. Their PBT grew around 69%. Way above their peer performances. And I believe that investors have been impressed with that, and have been trooping into the stock consequently.
All right, but still on earnings to come, we understand that Dangote Cement as well is expected to release their results as well tomorrow. What are your expectations for this?
Ah, so for their Q1 results, yeah, we're expecting interesting performances from Dangote Cement. We still expect revenue to grow, and we expect them to record an improvement in profit year on year for their Q1. We know that currently with the pandemic, the industrial goods players, especially the cement producers, have been slightly challenged in the Q2, but in the Q1, things were still better than they are currently. And we recall that the base in 2019, especially in Q1 19, because of the elections and the disruptions to business activity, was not great. So in comparison, Q1 20 is supposed to be better. So we're expecting strong results from Dangote Cement in Q1, the same way we had that for Lafarge. Yeah.
All right, but looking at how the COVID-19 pandemic has played out so far in Nigeria, I'd like to get your thoughts on how this has impacted, one, talking about cement demand in Nigeria, as well, we also look at volume growth and what we can expect even going forward into the rest of the year.
Yeah. In terms of impact, well, what we've started seeing right now is just the Q1 results. Like I said, we saw the Q1 results from WAPCO, and we're going to see the Q1 results from Dangote Cement tomorrow. We're going to see the Q1 results from Bua Cement. I expect soon also. And it's clear that the Q1, things still went according to plan, and the expectation was that 2020 was coming into this year. The expectation was that 2020 was going to be a stronger year for the cement players due to the weak infrastructure spend, especially from the public sector in 2019. That said, Q2 is going to be an entirely different story, with very poor business activity, social distance, the start of social distancing protocols affecting even the most basic construction projects. We should see a significant decline in cement sales across all producers. As things start to pick up in Q3 and Q4, we'll record improvements, but the hit to both government coffers, in the sense that government revenue has declined significantly from weaker oil prices and the emergency spend on managing and controlling the pandemic, and also the impact on the private sector from businesses whose activities have gone down significantly. We would not see demand recover to the levels we were expecting at going into this year. Overall, there should be a decline, in in cement demand for the year, like compared to 2019, which was not a very strong year in itself. But the expectation is that by 2021 we should see a recovery, and it should be a decent recovery. The fundamentals are still strong for the players, and I think, even with the way that they had set themselves up coming into 2020, with Lafarge letting go of Lafarge South Africa Holdings and Dangote Cement already rejigging their financing to accommodate a lot more cheaper debt financing. I think that they are in strong positions to weather this storm in 2020 and come out good in 2021.